this is the arch of the aorta. How do I know it's the arch of the aorta? Because it has the three main blood vessels coming off of it. Okay? Don't forget about those blood vessels. Okay? So what are we going to have? We're going to have the brachiocephalic, and then we are going to have the left common carotid and the left subclavian. As that subclavian goes under the clavicle and into this region here, it's going to become the axilla. And we're going to look at a couple of arms and legs as well. Brachiocephalic goes into the right subclavian and the right common carotid. Now, off of where the bifurcation occurs to external and internal carotid, we see a blood vessel. And we see a blood vessel that splits. Okay? This is splitting into, this gland is the thyroid gland, so superior thyroid and laryngeal. Okay. Now, off of the abdominal aorta, we know it is the descending aorta, but it is abdominal above the diaphragm and thoracic below the diaphragm. Okay? In this model we can't see it. In this model we can see it. In this model we can see it. Coming off of both the abdominal and, I beg your pardon, the thoracic and the abdominal are going to be intercostal arteries. Now, if there's an intercostal artery, there's an intercostal vein. Okay? In general, if there's an artery, there's a vein. So, for instance, renal artery, renal vein. Okay? That kind of thing. That's in general. Where that becomes different is that this is the jugular vein, where this is the carotid artery. Okay? Now, so we have intercostal artery, intercostal vein. The intercostal veins don't drain into the inferior vena cava. They drain into the azygos vein and the hemizygos vein, and this would be the accessory zygos. Okay. Now, that also refers to the lumbar artery and veins are also going to be into the hemizygos and the azygos. Now, they come off of common iliacs. So they are a secondary route for blood flow coming from the lower extremity. Let's see where I want to go next. I don't see it, I don't see it, I don't see it. There would be a superior phrenic and an inferior phrenic artery and vein off of the thoracic aorta and the abdominal aorta. We really don't see that, okay? And I don't see it off of that either. So the next main branch off of the aorta would be called the celiac trunk. And right there is the celiac trunk. And that has three branches coming off it. 1, 2, 3. The three branches are going to be the common hepatic, the left gastric, and the splenic. The common hepatic, the left gastric, and the splenic. This one kind of shows it somewhat better. And this one also shows it, okay? Common hepatic, left gastric, and splenic, okay? The liver is over here for the most part, so something that goes in that direction would be the common hepatic. The splenic goes down and around, okay? The splenic goes down and around to get to the spleen. So I would call that the splenic. And then it doesn't go as much to the right as that one, so the uppermost one would be the gastric, the left gastric. So that's going to go up and around, okay? So that's the celiac trunk. Now, we have a superior mesenteric. The mesentery is the connective tissue that holds intestines, and you have two different mesenteries, superior and inferior. So that would be superior mesenteric. This would be inferior mesenteric. Usually it's more centered, but celiac trunk, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. Gonadal, lumbar artery and vein. Renal artery, renal vein. Now, the renal breaks up into segmentals, which are going to the renal segments. We don't see it on any of these models, but a branch off of the renal going superiorward to here would be the adrenal or suprarenal artery. But we do see a suprarenal vein joining up with the renal vein. Okay? The abdominal aorta ends at this branching, and this branching is the common iliacs. Wherever you see common, there's going to be two other branches. The external, and right in there, the internal iliac. The external is going to go under the inguinal ligament and become the femoral artery. Okay? Femoral vein. Okay? External iliac vein, inferior vena cava. Okay? Get started on those. And then we'll